You extended the GridView class from the .NET framework and added new functionality to it in the previous lesson. That's lesson 410. In this lesson, you'll add your new extended GridView control to a page and use its new functionality. To begin, open the StableBase project from your sample files folder. And open horses.aspx in Source View. Before you can use your own classes as controls, you'll need to add a tag prefix to the page. The default tag prefix is ASP. It's currently being used by every control on this page. For example, ASP:"link data source." The ASP tag prefix tells ASP.NET to look in the system.web.ui.webcontrols namespace for the control. You'll need to add a new tag prefix for your own controls. Scroll to the very top of the page and add a new line just after the %@page line. Now add the following code on the new line. %@register tag prefix equals TSM namespace equals StableBase assembly equals StableBase. This code creates a new tag prefix named TSM. The TSM tag prefix will look in the StableBase namespace for its controls. The StableBase namespace is this project's default namespace. The extended GridView class is in the StableBase namespace. You created the extended GridView class in lesson 410. Now let's change the GridView control on this page into a extended GridView control. Scroll down until you see the code for the GridView horse control. As you can see, this code uses the ASP:"GridView class. Now change both instances of ASP:"GridView to TSM:"extended GridView. You have now replaced the standard GridView control on this page with your custom extended GridView. Now let's use the functionality of your new extended GridView control. Open the code behind file of horses.aspx. Now in the GridView horse row command event handler, replace the code int row clicked equals convert.toInt32 e.command argument, int horse id equals convert.toInt32 GridView horse data keys row clicked dot value with int horse id equals GridView horse dot get id from row e.command argument. You created the getIdFromRow method in lesson 410. It's now a lot easier to retrieve the horse ID value and requires less code. Let's test your code now. View horses.aspx in your web browser and click one of the View Details links. Your extended GridView control works perfectly, and the correct horses details are displayed. You don't have to limit yourself to extending controls. It's possible to extend any class, including classes that you've created yourself. Extending classes can be very useful, as you've seen in this example. But it's important to be careful when extending classes. A large structure of classes extending one another can become very hard to manage. I recommend that you only extend classes when it makes your code simpler. If extending a class makes things more complicated, it is probably a step backwards. Note that you could accomplish the same thing you do in this lesson by using a web user control. Web user controls are usually easier to use as they can automatically register a tag prefix. You'll learn about web user controls in Lesson 7.4. Close your web browser now and close Visual Studio. You've now completed Lesson 4.11. Add an extended control to a page.